And done. All right. I was just crossing something off my to-do list. Progress. We all love progress. Got me a shot of dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter that our brain releases whenever we make progress. It is your brain's way of saying, job well done. Maybe no one else will notice, but your brain did. Progress is important. It's important to our well-being. Psychologists have determined that a lot of our thought life is actually spent on the future. Unless you're engaged in something that's taking all your concentration or sleeping, most likely you're thinking about something you've got to do later, something in the future, a few minutes from now, a day or a week from now. But it's important to know or have confidence that what you're thinking about is going to work out, that you're going to make progress with it. Again, we want to believe that our future is going to be bright and hopeful. I've always kind of held the core belief that my best days are still ahead of me. I'm going to have a bright future, and I like thinking that way. If you're going to have a future, might as well be a good one. To foster progress and get a better sense of hope for the future, we need to understand goal setting, have a clear sense of what we're trying to achieve. Leaders at work, this is a very important function of them to create hope, to make sure that projects are scoped out so that you have lots of small wins. Big projects need to be broken down into little ones. You know, when we look at John F. Kennedy with the challenge of the moon landing, being the first country to put a man on the moon, look at the scope of that project was enormous. But a lot of small things had to happen to make that big goal of landing that man on the moon and bringing him home safely possible. We need to be the same way. We need to break our big goals down into small ones. We want a lot of dopamine. We want a lot of wins. We want to make winning a habit. There's a quote by Vince Lombardy that I've always loved. Talking about winning is a habit. We don't win sometimes. We have to win all the time. So you can't do the right thing some of the time. You have to do the right thing all of the time. You have to make it a habit. We want to make winning a habit. We need to foster good habits. We need to create good habits, then let them run on autopilot in our life. Would you like to know your future? I can tell it to you. Look at any day. A routine day is our lifetime in miniature. You look at a routine day, what your habits are, what you do, how you spend your time. Now project that out 5 years. Our routines are weaving the fabric that is going to create our future. So what does that day bring you? What does your routine day look like 5 years out? What are those routine habits going to bring you 5 years out, 10 years out? Do you take care of the fundamentals daily in your life? I am a big fan of Brian Johnson of Philosopher's Notes, and he talks heavily about the fundamentals, which are sleep, nutrition, and exercise. Making sure that every day you take care of those things that are important to you, and then give those to relationships and to your work and to the world. You have to take care of you to create quality for the rest of the activities in your life, including progress towards your goals. It's interesting, one of my first vocations in life was teaching martial arts. And the goal setting that you learn in the martial arts is what I pretty much continue to use throughout my life. When you have a new student come into a karate school or taekwondo school, they might watch the black belts throwing high kicks and think, man, I could never do that. And what I would do as an instructor is I'd go up to them and I'd explain to them that, what we're going to do is we're going to break the goals down to you into small goals that where about every other month you're going to have a testing. So what you're going to be doing is I'm going to give you some goals and some basic things to work towards, and in 2 months you'll test for a colored belt or rank. The great thing about that is what we've done is we've broken down the big goals into little goals and gave them the opportunity for lots of wins, lots of dopamine, so that, again, they could get addicted to that winning. It's interesting to note that a karate student is more nervous about that first testing for that first colored belt while he's a white belt or she is a white belt than they are testing for their black belt. Testing for the black belt is pretty easy. It's like crossing the finish line of the marathon. All the hard work was getting you there. And let me explain it. When they're testing for that first colored belt, they've never tested before. They don't know what to expect, so it's all a new experience to them. by the time they're testing for their black belt, they've been through several testing processes. By this time, it's been a few years have gone by, and they've developed confidence, they've developed skill. Now when they're testing for the black belt, they know they're going to pass. They're just ready to validate that they've achieved that level of skill. So again, it's something they're excited about rather than afraid of. That's how all our goals need to be. We need to break them down in a way that we can make progress, enjoy those shots of dopamine, and have that bright future where we know we're going to make it, we know we're going to achieve it. Where I think a lot of people kind of fail is when we're setting our goals, we have to remember we're creating kind of a dynamic tension. I often use running a marathon. I'll say right now I'm good for about 5 miles, and I need to be able to run 26 miles for a marathon. Imagine I'm stretching a rubber band between my hands. I've just created dynamic tension. I can release that tension by one of two ways. I can lower my goal, and let's go for a half a marathon, or I can start training to get where my ability matches the need. That's the progress. I think what often happens is we don't have a good plan when we create that dynamic tension. So again, we have where we're at today and where we're wanting to be, our goal in the future. And we have to realize there's between the two what I often refer to as a U. We've got this big U, a chasm, so to speak. Progress doesn't go like this, and it's not linear, and it's really not even so much like this. It's often when we start, we drop down into that U. Things just look bad. We make a plan to go to college, save money, lose weight, whatever, and all of a sudden we're hit by adversity, and we're going down in this dark pit, and it's like, how am I ever going to get out of it? But with resilience and persistence, we'll always hit that goal. If there's two things that are necessary to achieve your goals in life, it's only those two things, resilience and persistence. Think of resilience as a shield. It's what keeps you from succumbing to negative thinking. You've got to be resilient. You have to be anti-fragile. Just like a package would be stamped fragile, if it's something that can be broken, you want to wear a t-shirt that says anti-fragile. The more you get hit with things, it just makes you stronger. You've got that shield. The persistence is if you don't succumb to the negativity and you keep moving forward, you'll probably hit that goal. I'm a big believer in the rock breaking principle. Again, if someone's hitting a large boulder with a sledgehammer, they might hit it time after time after time and nothing is happening, then all of a sudden it breaks in half. Well, it wasn't just that hit, it was the accumulation of all the hits. If we're persistent, success is never guaranteed, but we're not going to have success without that persistence. So again, break down the goals into little goals and move forward. It's interesting in the work environment, the Gallup organization actually surveyed people about their leaders, their supervisors, or their bosses on whether or not they helped them to set goals and provided hope for their job. Hope, again, is defined as having that bright future. Now, for employees that were able to say that their boss gave them a bright picture of a future that they could share in, so provided hope, those people were engaged by about 69%. So about 69% of the people said they were engaged. Where that person was not there, the people that said they did not have a boss that provided hope, of those type of people in that environment, only 1% was involved, was engaged at work. So you look at hope, no hope, 1% engagement, lots of hope, 69% engagement. That's pretty significant. So I'd say that's really one of the main reasons that we have leaders is to, again, give us that confidence, give us that insight that, you know what, we're going to make it. Here's the goal. I've got the plan. Follow me. We're going to work together and we're going to achieve it. So how about you? Do you break down your goals? Do you get your shots of dopamine? Are you trying to do too much at once? You're trying to eat the elephant all in one bite? Yet I ran a lot of marathons, and for a runner, those mile markers are what you look for to get that shot of dopamine. Every mile marker you cross is like, yeah, one more down. We need to be that way with our life. You need to break it down to where, you got lots of wins and winning becomes that habit like Vince Lombardy was talking about. You want to be kind to yourself. When you mess up, just, let it go. Let it go. You want to reward yourself for doing good, and you want to dismiss yourself for doing bad. Again, don't beat yourself down, because again, that will make it hard to get back on track. So again, when you miss a shot, you don't do what you say you're going to do, just let it go, and then pick up the effort the next day. Get back on track. When you do well, reward yourself. When you do poorly, let it go. Be gracious. So good luck with your future goals. Remember, break it down. Progress is fun. Progress encourages us. So we need to set ourselves up to get lots of dopamine, to get lots of check-offs our to-do list, and to move forward.